Here we have one additional student sample and lab handout given. Here we will be looking at Charles Law. So the title of this lab should be Charles Law. Notice that we have our objectives listed, and notice that we have background information. This student has the title of the lab, they have their objectives and their introduction, they give our purpose statement, they give the background information, so they would have 100% for this lab report. The second part of the lab would be the method section. And with the methods, you'll see that they have their list of material. Again, this is listed, it is not in sentence form. And they have their procedure clearly labeled. They are doing this in step form. I drew a table to record my data. I set up the apparatus as shown next page. So notice that they have this in first person and in step form. Remember, don't overthink your lab report. Your list of equipment will be listed in your lab handout, and so will your procedure. Now you may have to tweak some steps that were maybe not done or were done by the teacher. You want to include these as first person, but use that information from the lab handout to help you write your report. Now notice the diagram for our setup so we can see what's going on. Here our student decided to draw that diagram to help explain the setup for their lab. And again, this student went through and step by step wrote out their procedure. What about the results? Well, we can definitely see that we have a data table that must be filled in. Here our student has filled in their data table, and they have also begun working on their graph. Notice that on the graph it is calibrated, it is clearly labeled, and units are included. Now here we have our conclusion questions listed from our lab. Many times our professor will ask that we address some of the conclusion questions. This will help us as far as analyzing our results. Now here we have the students' conclusion to their report. Notice that the conclusion is clearly underlined and labeled. Many times you want to start the conclusion by restating your purpose statement. So we restate our purpose statement. We relate our purpose statement and background information to our lab results. We talk about any errors that occur. We address any conclusion questions that should be addressed. Our conclusion can be anywhere from a paragraph up to a page or two. So this concludes reviewing over how to write lab reports. You have 2 examples, plus you have the handout that shows you how to approach writing a lab report. If you need any additional help, please feel free to drop by my classroom for the additional help needed.